Hello there. Welcome once again to Living on Purpose. This is Fola Daniel at Delisi, and today I'll continue teaching on financial mindset by talking about planning and budgeting. So today, there's a difference between tracking your expenses and going to planning and budgeting. Tracking your expenses would only track the money that you have already spent, and there's nothing you can do about that. But planning is to make sure you determine how the money is to be spent before the money comes. I told you earlier that I realized one of the things my dad used to do was that he would track his expenses and he would make sure that everything he spent is accounted for. One of the things I also saw him do was to plan for the things that he was expecting and plan for how the amount of money was to be spent. I would see a list by his on his bedside locker, and the list would contain everything he wants to do as soon as the expected money is coming. As simple as that list is, it is one step in the right direction to start planning for the money you are expecting. Many people don't plan for the money that they are expecting by going the extra mile to write it down. They only make a mental note of the plans. Trust me, your memory cannot be as reliable as writing things down. You need to write down everything that you want to do, and don't just write them down, then go and do whatever you want to do when the money comes. After writing down everything you want to do with the money, when the money comes, you need to go back to the list. And I'm saying this because I've also seen a situation even with me and some other people. When I teach goal setting, this is something that comes up in my class a lot. I realize that we sometimes make a list, we plan for the things that we want to spend. And despite the fact that we plan for the things that we want to spend, as soon as the money comes, we don't even go back to the list. We spend the money up until maybe 90 or 95% before we remember that there's a list somewhere. And when you have spent your money up until 95% before remembering that there is a list somewhere, then it means that it's already too late to start going with the plan that you have. So make sure that you don't only make a plan and do whatever you want with the money. You need to determine how the money is to be spent. How do you determine how the money is to be spent? The first step is to make a plan. The second step is, as soon as the money comes, visit the plan that you made. There is nothing wrong with making adjustments with your plans. There could be emergencies. You can come to the realization that the money was not as much as you thought it was, and that can allow you to make adjustments. You can also realize the fact that maybe something that you thought was very important is not as important as you thought it was. So that is a good enough reason for making adjustments with your plan. However, the reason you are making a plan is because you want to do better with your spending. The reason you're also making a plan is because you also want to be able to track where your money is going even before it goes out. You don't want it going out before asking yourself questions like, where did my money go to? So it's important that when the money comes in, you need to go back to the plan that you have. Now, some people say, okay, I don't even know how to plan for my money. I can't even do budgeting and all of that. So one of the things you can do, because there are so many templates out there, is to go online, download some templates, adjust it to whatever works for you. Or if you have a financial consultant that you can afford, you can ask them to draw up a plan for you or draw up a budget for you, what you're going to spend on feeding on a monthly basis, and you can put a cap on that. Now, for those who just eat and eat and eat, there's a tendency to keep spending more money on food. I've also seen situations where people are amazed at how much they are spending on feeding alone. Now, could they have spent less on feeding? Yes, they could have. The other bigger problem with spending money on food is not that they are just spending money on food. It's the fact that they are spending money on takeouts on a daily basis. You go to an eatery all the time. You go to some restaurant all the time. You order food online all the time. And you need to understand that the people who are selling food to you online are business people. The people who are selling food in the eatery, the fast food joints, anywhere you go to, the pizza that you order, the ice cream that you order, the shawarma, everything that you order, these are business people. So they are not only charging you for the food item, they are putting a margin on the food. They are valuing what they are spending on electricity. They will value what they are also paying their staff. They will also calculate what they are spending on their internet, whatever it is that they spend money on, and they will sum it together, spread that cost on everything you are buying. If you go in and sit, they also calculate the cost of the convenience. So that's why it's far more expensive to always eat out. Now, there's nothing wrong with eating out once in a while, but once you make it a daily habit or a regular habit, you would realize that you're spending too much money eating out. There are times when you're making too many phone calls and your phone bills will rise. Do you need to ask yourself, can you send an email instead? Can you find an alternative? Why do you need to make all these phone calls all the time? So if it's possible to reduce your phone bill, then reduce your phone bill. If you budget, you would see how much you're spending on entertainment. If you budget, you see how much you're spending on so many other things, and you ask yourself, is it really worth it? But then ask yourself, how much are you spending on investments? How much are you setting aside maybe for emergency purposes? And how much are you setting aside for your savings? One major reality that people come to is they realize that they are spending so much money on daily expenses, but there's very little money going into savings and investments or even trust funds. Some people can't even create trust funds, not because they don't have enough money to, but because they are constantly spending. Here's what you need to do. Look at what you're spending on today, make an adjustment, and increase what you're putting into your savings account, and also increase what you're putting into your investment account. The reason you need to increase what you're putting into your savings and investments account is that if you keep spending today and for whatever reason you lose your job tomorrow, you will not have what to spend again. If you keep spending today and you don't have anything saved up, what if we have a repeat of the COVID-19 lockdown that happened in 2019/2020? What do you think will happen? Many people sometimes seem to forget what has happened in the past. We forget history in a hurry. So it's a reminder of the fact that if something ever happens, you need to have something saved up somewhere. And one of the ways to do that is to minimize to the barest minimum what you are spending on every other thing and gradually increase your investments and your savings. Put money into things that you can easily convert to cash in the future. Put money into things that you can sell off when you need money so that you can use the money for more important things. Put money into real estate that will always appreciate in value so that when you need money in the future, you can go back to it. That's another way to budget effectively and spend your money more effectively. I hope that you have learned something today and you'll do better with your finances. Thank you. Please head on now to youtube.com/Fola Daniel Speaks.